Hey, Marley, do you know what you've done? What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duties as a wife and cause trouble for Rory? You really are the worst kind of wife. I'm going to teach you a thing or two. Katie, there's a reason why I left. It doesn't matter. We're moving into a new, beautiful apartment. If you want to move in with us, I'll tell you where our new home is. I'm sure that Katie still doesn't know anything about the truth. So to me, I thought this was a good thing. No, thank you. Huh? My name is Marley. I am a 35-year-old office worker. My husband Rory and I have been married for 5 years. My husband is now 40 years old, 5 years older than me. I used to like older men, and I was attracted to him because he was kind and calm. And we continued our relationship as a couple and got married eventually. Married life was happy in its own way. However, a few months ago, my peaceful life began to fade away.
I got fired.
What? My husband was suddenly laid off. The reason was that the company's business condition had worsened due to the recession. I had never imagined that my husband would be laid off, because he worked for a major company. I thought we would be able to live without worrying about money with his good salary. But I guess the reality is cruel sometimes. Before I knew it, we were in a really tight spot. I was a housewife, but I decided to work right away. I contacted the company I had left when I got married, but luckily they agreed to hire me. Apparently, there was an employee who had just left the company since she got married. I was relieved to know that I was in safe hands, finding a place to work. If my husband could find a new job, we would be fine. However, re-employment for a middle-aged man like him is a bit tough, and my husband had no choice but to work part-time. His part-time salary averaged about $700 per month. Since I began to work after 5 years of blank, my salary is not that high. At this rate, we are barely scraping by. Hey, the rent is a bit expensive here, so why don't we move? I think it would be better to find a cheaper place and save for now. To make life easier, we still need to lower our fixed costs. Until now, I had been living in a reasonably good apartment because of my husband's good salary. But I should take a hard look at reality and live in an apartment that is much more cheaper than the one we are living in now. But my husband was against my suggestion.
No, we're not moving from here.
What? Why not?
If we move to a smaller and cheaper apartment than where we're living right now, my mother will ask me the reason, you know?
I didn't understand what he meant. Why don't you just tell the truth to your mother? That we were having a hard time making ends meet because you got laid off due to the recession. When I said that, my husband's face turned red and he raised his voice.
Stop it. Don't ever tell my mother that I got laid off. We can pay the rent with your salary and my earnings. So why don't we just leave it as is?
I was surprised and disappointed at the same time. Is his pride and vanity more important than protecting our married life? Even though we're barely able to pay the rent, our life is so difficult that we can't save any money at all, which is why I was proposing to move out like this to him. But my husband would not even try to understand my point when it came to this, so I had no choice but to give it up. After that, life continued to be difficult. In the midst of all this, my husband said this to me.
Hey, is this all you cooked for dinner today? You used to cook a lot more dishes. You're not skipping work just because you started working, are you? You should be more efficient in balancing work and family.
My husband's words made me angry, so I argued back. It can't be helped. Our life is really in a tight spot right now. I'm doing my best at home and at work. Someone is too proud that he insists on living here that I have no choice but to cut back on food expenses. Or maybe if he could just go and earn more money, that would be better. When I said this in a provocative way, my husband snapped.
What the heck? Don't say that to me, like you're trying to get back at me. You just wait and watch. I'll get another job at a major company and earn more money than you.
That's how angry my husband was. I thought he was being annoying, but I convinced myself that if this had motivated my husband, that was fine. However, my husband, who was originally unable to find a new job and had to work part-time, would never be able to find a new job even if he became motivated now. I could understand if he studied a lot and got different qualifications or something like that to prove his skills, but he didn't do anything like that. He just worked part-time. My husband got fed up by the interviewers at every job interview and having to please the interviewers, who were all most likely younger than him, and eventually stopped job hunting. I was disappointed that he had given up after declaring what he had said and saying he would earn more money than me. And it is not only my husband that I am worried about. I just received another call earlier today. It was my mother-in-law, Katie, who'd call me even though I was at work. In the morning alone, there were more than 10 missed calls from her. When I returned the call during my lunch break, Katie's voice was screaming from the other end of the line. "Hey, you should answer the phone right away." "I told you last time that I was at work, didn't I?" "I don't care about your stupid work. You better prioritize my calls." Since Katie lost her husband a year ago, she has been calling me a lot. Perhaps it was because she felt lonely, but her phone calls felt like they were always trying to monitor me, asking me if I was properly supporting her son. And recently, when she heard that I had started working, she got angry like a demon, and now she's calling me at work like this. "So, I wonder if you're discussing with Rory properly." "I haven't gotten a straight answer from him at all." "I'm sorry, but we can't live together, Katie." "I'm not asking for your opinion. I don't think Rory would be opposed to that idea." "No, my husband also says that we can't right now. Besides, we are in a difficult financial situation right now." "What do you mean? Rory works for a major company. He's well paid, so he should be able to afford to live." I am always at a loss for words when she'd say things like that to me. I'm not allowed to tell Katie about Rory being laid off, so he can't tell her the truth either. Therefore, Katie assumes that I am selfishly working but lying about how hard it is to make ends meet. Katie's phone calls are insistent, not only when I am at work, but also when I am home in the evening. "Generally speaking, a wife should make it her priority to support her own husband, and taking care of her husband means taking care of his mother too. You haven't come to see me at all recently. You should come visit here." I'm exhausted from my full-time job as an office worker, and my husband works on shift during weekend as well. That's why our days off don't match. I'm sorry, we're both very busy and our schedules don't really work out. "I don't care about your schedule. Besides, Rory is off on weekends, right? He can come either way." Katie must be very frustrated with me because she kept insisting us to visit her. I thought it was time for me to give up, so I tried to tell her the truth about my husband. "No, my husband is currently working on weekends, and—" "Huh? What do you mean?" Actually, as I was about to tell the truth, my husband, who had been lying on the sofa watching TV earlier, ran up to me and took my phone.
"Oh, Mom, I'm sorry. I haven't been able to visit you lately. I'm actually working on a big project right now, and I'm also working on my days off. I'll come see you after I get settled with work." With that, my husband hung up the phone and handed it back to me. "What are you doing?" "Why were you trying to tell my mother the truth?" Let's just talk honestly to her about the truth. If we continue on like this, she'll always misunderstand. "I'm sorry, but don't tell my mother about it." "Why don't you just let go of that petty pride already?" "Shut up. I've been providing for you all this time. Yet how dare you talk to me like that?" With these words, my husband retreated to his room. I'm already stressed out because we're barely making ends meet, but when his mother-in-law's criticism and my husband's selfishness were added to the mix, it's just too much for me. My husband says his job is too much work and does not do any housework. He works on weekends and once or twice a week during the weekdays. Since he's capable of working, I would like to see him increase his income by taking on other part-time jobs or a full-time job. Or I want him to learn how to take care of the house
and take the initiative to do the chores. I decided to leave home for a while because I was fed up with my husband, who complained about various things, even though he wasn't doing it, and leaving all the housework to me. And plus, I was making more money than him. I decided to go back to my parents' house for a week or so to show my husband how hard housework is. I had told my parents in detail about the current situation at home, so they told me that I should just get a divorce as soon as possible. Yet I had been romantically married to my husband, and we had been married for 5 years, so I did not want to go through a divorce so easily. I thought that if I was going to divorce him, I would do everything I could to try to improve the situation, and if that didn't work, I would divorce him. Sure enough, when I returned to my parents' house, I received a phone call from my husband.
Hey, when are you coming home? Where's my dinner?
I won't be home for a while, so do all the housework in the meantime by yourself.
Huh? You've got to be kidding me. Don't be stupid, just come home and do the housework.
No, I won't. I'll make you understand how hard house chores are. You have to clean the house, do the laundry, and cook all by yourself. So you'll know how hard it was for me to do all that while I'm working. I said that as I hung up the phone. My husband had called me many times, but I ignored all of them. For the first time in a long time, life at my parents' house was very relaxing. The three of us could share the housework with my father and my mother would say, "Aren't you tired?" And she served us many home-cooked meals. I really appreciated the fact that I didn't have to do anything and the meals got served. So I stayed at my parents' house for about a week. I really wanted to stay a little longer, but my parents' house is quite far from my workplace, and it takes me an hour and a half each way to commute, which is hard, and I thought it was about time my husband understood how hard housework is. Then I came home for the first time in a long time. I was worried that it might be dirty, but the rooms were cleaner than I had expected. But I felt somewhat uneasy. Could it be? I went to check my husband's room and found that the clothes and suitcases in his closet were gone. I thought to myself, he must have gone to his parents' place. I thought so and called my husband.
Oh, you're calling me now, huh?
Where are you right now?
I'm at my parents' house.
You went to your parents' house right after I left, is that right?
That's right.
What are you doing? That doesn't make any sense.
You shouldn't have left in the first place, right? I'm already angry. I'm not going back to that house.
What do you mean?
I'm going to live with my mom.
You mean you're going back to your parents' house?
Yeah, and I'm not just going back. I'm moving into a new apartment with her.
What? I didn't understand what he meant. As I was at a loss for words, the voice on the phone changed. Hey, Marley? Do you realize what you've done? What kind of nerve do you have to abandon your duty as a wife and cause trouble for Rory? You really are the worst kind of wife. I'll make sure to teach a thing or two to you. Katie, there's a reason I left. It doesn't matter. We're moving into a new beautiful apartment. You want to come too, don't you? If you want to move in with us, I'll tell you where our new place is. I am sure Katie still doesn't know anything about the real truth. To me, I thought this was a great opportunity. No, thank you. Huh? I immediately refused, and Katie sounded dumb, since she didn't expect that from me. So I said, I'm not going to live with you guys. Are you serious? If Rory is going to live with me, that means you will live alone unless you come over here. You can't live alone, can you? Don't worry, I have enough money to live by myself. If we don't live together, there's no need for us to be a couple. So, I'm divorcing my husband. What? I said the word divorce, and I could hear Katie and my husband's surprised voices over the phone.
Wait a minute, Marley. There's no need for that, right?
I can't stay married to you anymore. I want to get rid of a useless husband like you as soon as possible. When I said that and made fun of my husband, Katie snapped. How dare you talk to Rory like that? I don't want a wife like you. Rory, hurry up and get a divorce.
No.
I'll get the divorce papers. You rude woman. Make sure you regret asking for a divorce. It's too late to apologize now. I will return the same exact words to you, Katie. As I said that, the phone went dead. Perhaps Katie and my husband will come here with the divorce papers. I am thankful that things are going my way, though. I have already given up on my husband completely when he went back to Katie's place without trying to reflect about his own actions. There is no way he will ever change. Then there is no need for us to be together. I decided to pack my bags until Katie and Rory arrived. A few hours later, Katie came over alone. Oh, Rory's not here? I don't need him to see you. Here you go. I've already made Rory sign his section. You sign your part as soon as possible, too. With these words, Katie thrusted the divorce papers at me. I think my husband's handwriting is all trembly. He really is a kind-hearted child. Rory was reluctant to divorce even though you're such a lousy wife to him. I will never forgive you for causing trouble to such a wonderful person. I hope you live a poor, sad life and regret it. While I was filling out my part of the form, Katie kept on saying bad things to me. I guess my husband's pride got in the way and he couldn't tell Katie the truth until the very end. He really is a pathetic man, after all. What did you do with your house? Oh, I sold it. So even if you come over, you can't live there. No, I won't do that. How much did you sell it for? It was pretty old, so it won't sell for a high price. That's none of your business. But I'll tell you since I'm nice. It sold for about $50,000. It's not much, but it will be enough for my retirement. And Rory will pay the rent for the new apartment. Wow. I'm surprised he got approved for the mortgage. What are you talking about? Rory is a well-paid man, so it's only natural. Did you put that $50,000 into Rory's account by any chance? Huh? Yes. How did you know? I mean, who cares? Don't pry into my affairs anymore, since you're divorcing Rory. It's obvious you're still hung up on him. But it's too late for that. And don't worry, I've agreed to the divorce. I'll file the divorce papers. When I said that, Katie left. I was overjoyed to be free from Katie and Rory. I packed up the rest of my belongings and moved them to my parents' house. Then looked for an apartment for myself and signed a contract. Incidentally, I successfully provoked Katie so that I could get rid of the property division. I can't hand over Rory's valuable property to you. The pale face of my husband, who was participating in the discussion about the division of property, is funny, even now when I remember it. One day, about 2 years later, I received a phone call from an unknown number. Who on earth could it be in the morning before work? Thinking it might be a work-related call, I picked up the phone, and to my surprise, it was my ex-mother-in-law. Oh, Marley, please help me. Oh, Katie, I can't have you calling me. We are strangers now. Please, don't say that. I'm in a lot of trouble. What, you two can't pay the rent on the apartment anyway, and your savings have run out, and you're in trouble. Is that it? How'd you know? So, you didn't know about him getting laid off, huh? What? You knew about it? Yes, I knew and tried to tell you many times, but every time I did, Rory would stop me from telling you. Oh, I didn't realize that. I'm sorry, Marley, I didn't know anything. I apologize. So, will you come back again? I don't want to. That man would never change no matter how much I tell him. You have always bullied me too. I don't want to spend time with people like you two again. Please, don't say that. I don't have anything to eat anymore, and I'm really at my wit's end. According to Katie, my husband has been paying rent out of the $50,000 that she got from selling the family home without telling her about him being laid off, because he has been trying to look good to her. He thought Katie would get suspicious if he didn't show her how extravagant he was sometimes, so he went on expensive shopping sprees and also treated her out to expensive meals. Because he continued such a lifestyle, the $50,000 savings were all gone in no time, and they're now penniless. You both deserve it. Why don't you two put aside your stupid prides and live modestly in a cheap apartment? It wasn't supposed to be like this. I was supposed to have an excellent son, take care of me, and live a comfortable life until I pass away. Katie would cry like that over the phone. I just quietly hung up the phone and blocked all incoming calls. I also put a restraining order against them just in case, so if anything happened, I could report on them immediately. I guess both of them only know how to lean on someone else. I'll learn from them not to be like that and be independent. With this thought in mind, I remotivated myself and continued my work. Thank you for watching until the end. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to our channel. See you in our next video.